I hate competition, right? And I think it's kind of ironic for me to say that because in a lot of ways, I do a lot of things that are competitive, right? But I think competition is so antithetical to the very nature of like life, right? Like what is life but just your own journey, right? And why measure your own success in life up to others, right? I think it's the whole concept of competition is antithetical to the point of life, right? But also, I do acknowledge that there's a lot of upsides to competition, right? Like, competition brings the best out of us, right? It forces us to make something of our lives, right? Um, it it rivals, right? Rivalries help bring the best of you and make you push yourself to be the best version of you possible, right? There are a lot of benefits to competition, but at the same time, I just think competition can so often get so cruel, and so often it's antithetical to what it means to be human, right? To what it means to be alive. Because there's no first place when you're dead, right? Because you're dead. And it doesn't matter how rich you were or if you were an Olympic level athlete, right? Everyone dies, and that's just the way it is, right? And you don't get bonus points for being an Olympic runner or just being some average Joe Schmo, right? It all comes down to the same regardless. And I think like competition's forcing us to view each other as enemies, right? To put, I guess, like human relations on the back burner in favor of glory, of fame, right? I just think it's very cruel, right? To force us to turn against one another for the sake of personal uh glory, right? Oh my god, I was this close. I don't know. Um, like, okay, so I think it's kind of hypocritical for me to say this because I think I'm a very competitive person, right? And I think everybody is a competitive person because to like human evolution dictates that you must be competitive, right? Because if you were not competitive, you would have died out like a long time ago, right? And yeah, so human evolution does dictate that we have to be competitive, and I'm a very competitive person, right? Because I mean, I don't like to lose because losing in and of itself means you're inferior to someone else. And while I think it's a dumb metric to measure your importance based on an ultimately arbitrary competition, right? Like, what does being better at like basketball or being faster than someone really mean other than you have maybe slightly better hand-eye coordination or you're a little taller or you can run faster away from a bear chasing you, right? Like that's at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, right? And I think like this whole thing we have of like a lot of people, their importance is on how good they are at something, right? And colleges also train us to think like that, right? Your value in the eyes of a college is how I lost this, by the way, is how many competitions you've won, right? Like they really care about like awards or whatever, right? And like your value as a human being, right, is measured on how good you are at playing the piano, right? Or how fast of a runner you are, right? So yeah, that's that. I don't know. I think for me, it's just like there's like human. I guess the human existence is really so futile, right? Like we there's no greater purpose in life. You just live and die, and it just is the way it is, right? And you make the best of the time you're given, right? And I just think this concept of like we have to prove ourselves our worth as human beings, right? Because just being alive isn't good enough because you're not a functioning member of society, right? And being really good at running makes you a beneficial member to society because you help your nation win medals, right? Um, and you basically act as propaganda piece, right? and you sell tickets, right? So you have a value. There's a value intrinsic to being very good at running, right? But I fucked up. But at the same time, like, I don't know. At the same time, like, how can we how can we say it's fair to measure, because some people are good at things that don't, like, aren't competitive, right? Like, because not everything is inherently competitive, right? You could be like, also, I think competition ruins things, but we'll get back to that, right? So first, I think a lot of things are not inherently competitive, and people are very good at them, right? Um, like, I think while music is a competition, right, you're competing with others, um, and it can just literally be a competition, like a violin or piano competition or something. I think music is a personal endeavor, right? Like, also, it's a group endeavor, right? Like, um, most famous people are in bands, right? And I think bands on average do better than solo artists, right? I don't know about nowadays, but it was that for a while at least, right? And um, like, making music is a very, I wouldn't, it's not a very individualistic thing, right? Like, you're a part of a whole, right? Just vocals isn't enough. You need a guitar or something, right? A keyboard, something else, right? Or drums. Like, one person that's really good at one thing isn't enough to make a piece of music, right? You still need other people there, right? And yeah, there we go. And yeah, like, I think, like, I don't know. I think this whole idea that, like, we have to, like, I think the fact that we have to always measure ourselves to someone else, and the fact that we turn everything into a competition, right? I think it's so, like, cruel, right? Like, sure, it brings the best out of people, but at what cost, right? Like, like, competition can make you hate something, right? And that's what I want to talk about running for, okay? So I like running, right? I enjoy running. I usually run 5 kilometers, right? Um, and it's been like that for a while because I don't really, like, I just run for fun, right? Like, whenever I'm bored, or whenever I need exercise, or whenever I feel like challenging myself, right? I run, right? But I don't run track for my school, right? Because I think, like, being forced on a schedule and having to compete against other people, it defeats the whole point of running, right? I think running to me is about being the best version of yourself, right? Like, one, getting into, like, decent shape, right? Two, it's about pushing yourself, right? Like, getting better times, right? And I don't think it's about being getting a better time than someone else, right? Because, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, um, we, like, your physical capabilities are somewhat genetic, right? Like, I think the best example of this, because human racing is very imperfect, right? But horse racing is not. Okay, horse racing is a very exact science. Okay, and in horse racing, genetics is everything, right? If you have a horse with shitty genetics, it just will never be good, right? It doesn't matter. Like, you can have a lazy ass horse that doesn't want to do anything, but it could have godlike genetics, right? And that's where you have, like, branches, like whole ass farms dedicated to raising racehorses, right? These genetics, right? And I think, like the fact that, like, that's horses, right? But with even with humans, like a lot of sports, you have to be you either have to be so tall or you cannot be that tall, right? Like Formula One, right? You can't be like 6 foot because you won't fit in the Formula One car, right? Um, or yeah, or like basketball, you can't be 4'2" because, like, you will literally get ran over, right? And, like, that's just the way it is, right? But like, I need to readjust this. Oh my god. Like, okay. Like, for racing, right? Like, a lot of it comes down, like, Michael Phelps, right? One of the best runners, or best swimmers, sorry, in American history. and he has like some weird genetic um, mutation that makes it so his muscles like don't produce some type of thing that makes him tired, right? You can't train that out of someone, right? You also can't train being big out of someone, right? Like you can't train someone to become like 7 foot tall, right? It's just not gonna happen, right? And yeah, like at the end of the day, it's just that, right? Like we treat competition as a measure of like how competent we are as a person, right? But your competence, I mean, this is with everything in life, but your competence is really uh not under your control, right? Like you could just be born with a bad hand, right? And like it's just at the end of the day, it just boils down to that, right? You're born with a bad hand, and you just make the best of a bad situation, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like with competition, um, like the whole thing, it boils us down to one. It boils us down to machines for someone else's pleasure, right? Like athletes push themselves and like risk injuring themselves and probably like fuck up their bodies at the end of the day to entertain someone else, right? And yeah, like I don't know. I just think like the very like I get it, right? Competition makes us better versions of ourselves, and I think in moderation, competition can be a very healthy thing, right? Like if you don't have anyone um to compete against, you'll grow complacent, right? But also comparison is the thief of joy, right? Like always comparing yourself to someone else will make your personal achievements seem like rather minuscule in comparison, right? And you can always like take that to the extreme, right? Like I can be the best runner in my high school, but there's like the guy in the next city is better than me, right? Or I can be the best runner in the country, but the guy in like Ghana or something is better than me, right? Or I could be the best country in the world or best runner in the world, but my world records will will fade away in like a few years time, or like yeah, probably like 5 years, 10 years time, right? And there will be someone better than me. So yeah, I mean, I think comparison is the thief of joy, right? Because you will never be good enough, and while that does push us to become the best version of ourselves, it also makes it so you'll never be happy with what you have and who you are, right? And yeah, I think turning everything into a competition and making it so like literally like why like like writing competitions, right? Um, like why? Okay, like is writing not like a personal thing? Um, and it does like people. It's not you like you don't only read one book in your life, right? So why does it matter if you have to be the best book? Can't you just be like? It's also taste is subjective, right? Like somebody's writing could be fantastic to one person and horrible to the other, right? As long as the author is fine with their work, right? And that goes for a lot of art. Like for art competitions, like who's to say like this piece of art is better than the other, right? Um, and if you measure like the value of your art through like competitions, right? Which is what like colleges make us do, right? Like you can be an amazing artist and but you can just draw or whatever in a style that's just currently not popular, right? Um, yeah, that's that. I don't know. I just think competition in the way we currently have it is unhealthy because I feel like you can't even be a kid, right? Like your existence in high school is a competition for colleges. Like if you're a normal person, right? If you're just some average Joe Schmo that's not Olympic level athlete, like even then your life is you're always being compared to someone else, and and the healthiest thing in life is to not compare yourself to someone else because ultimately it doesn't matter, right? We're all gonna end up dead, so yeah. Anyways, that's that video. Subscribe, guys. The channel is like slowly growing, so that's amazing. Yep, subscribe, guys, and good night. Yeah. I might do a book review tomorrow. Depends how I feel.